Good morning, everyone. Another day at the golf course, but with a more dire warning. I'm really distraught to see what the U.S. is doing in Iran. Iran is a country that has never tried to dominate other countries. Matter of fact, it has sued for peace and did have a nuclear agreement, as I had said before, with the United States, and they were not interested in making a nuclear bomb, which is what the claim is by Israel. But the previous Ayatollah Khomeini had an edict, which they call a fatwa, saying that it was immoral to have a nuclear bomb. They have nuclear fissionable material that they use for their domestic use. Now that Iran has been attacked by Israel again, they're thinking twice about that fatwa, seeing how the Ayatollah Khomeini has been replaced by his son. And as I said before, the attack that the U.S. made on Iran, it killed the current Khomeini's father, Ayatollah, his wife, his kid. So for Trump to say that he was receiving a present for them, as I said before, makes no sense. The history behind this attack is Lindsey Graham, of all people, has been trying to get the U.S. to attack Iran for the longest, and I think it's part of the AIPAC lobbying group. But Netanyahu has been wanting this for 40 years. He has admitted this before, that he's been trying to get the U.S. to come on board to take over Iran for a regime change, which seems like they got a regime change, but they didn't get a cessation of the war or a conquest of the war. This is an illegal war because Iran did not provoke this war. Netanyahu provoked this war, saying that and he's been saying this for 40 years, that Iran is 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb, which has proved to be ridiculous. They had allowed the IAEA in to inspect everything, and as I said before, after the IAEA had told the U.S. and Iran where their leaders were, they blew up their leaders. So at that point, Iran no longer trusted the inspectors, which I can understand. And they also realized when Libya gave up their weapons, the U.S. went in and destabilized Libya, killing Muammar Gaddafi. And that was one of the countries that Jeffrey Sachs said that was on the list of the 5 wars in 7 years, which is what was received. I think that was General Wesley Clark had told, I think this was probably 20 years ago, when Wesley Clark had shared with Jeffrey Sachs that the U.S. was told by Israel that they were going to have 5 wars in 7 years to the benefit of Israel. This is kind of really disturbing to think that another foreign country, which Israel is, it's an ally, is controlling our foreign policy and our war strategy. This is very disturbing. One of the things that makes me think that there's no way there's ever going to be a what would you call it? A truce, a strong truth, truce between Israel and any of the Arab states that are not under the influence of the U.S. I say this because there's something called Greater Israel. I mentioned this before, and Greater Israel is what Israel wants to create. And if they have a peace treaty, they cannot expand to the other countries that they want to expand to. In Greater Israel, what they want to include is both the West Bank and Gaza. They want to include Syria. They want to include Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, parts of Egypt, and parts of Saudi Arabia, and probably just the neuter Iran. So any of the threats that Israel felt was a problem for them, they invited the U.S. in to attack those countries. Now that the U.S. is involved in this illegal war, they've gone to the NATO countries saying that you need to get on board and help us bomb and take over Iran. And NATO's country says, no, this is your war. You initiate it, so you fight it. So the other country, Spain, has said that the U.S. cannot use their facilities, which is a NATO country, says they can't use their country to stage or fly over to attack Iran. There are military people that are now seeking conscientious objection status, so they don't have to go, because lately Trump is talking about putting boots on the ground, and not only the NATO countries are refusing to join the U.S. with boots on the ground. Israel, the country that encouraged the war, said they're not going to join the U.S. with boots on ground. This may seem odd to most people, but if you really look at one of the bases of their religion, although most of them are Zionists, they're not religious Jews. But if you look at the Talmud said, and this was under one of the rabbis, Rabbi Shimon, I think that was his name. He said the best of the Gentiles, meaning the non-Jews, should be killed. I mean, what kind of philosophy is this? Where you're saying the people who are assisting you should be killed. It's very disturbing. And what's more disturbing is that the white Christian evangelicals are supporting Israel. And what I don't understand is that according to the Talmud, they believe that Jesus was a mimza, which means a bastard, and they said he should be in hell in boiling excrement. This isn't anything I'm making up. Read this information for yourself. So if that's what the Orthodox Jews think of the Christian Jesus, why would you support a country that debases the existence of your Savior? I don't get this. It makes no sense. But what I'm concerned about is the fallout of American soldiers fighting a war with people allegedly that don't think you're human, think you should be killed, and American soldiers are giving up their lives for the benefit of Israel. You have you have to give. I mean, it's not funny, but the irony of it is unbelievable. So anyway, I'm sorry to come to you with this information, but I had to say something about what's happening in the Middle East and why it's happening in the Middle East. Look at your maps, please, and see what the greater Israel encompasses. I've already mentioned it to you, what it is, the locations. Again, I'll just repeat it. Obviously, it's Gaza, the West Bank. It's Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, parts of Egypt, and parts of Saudi Arabia. Which brings me to the point, why would Egypt support Israel, and why would Saudi Arabia support Israel when they're saying they're going to take part of your country after they finish with the West Bank and the Gaza? It's perplexing. But anyway, I'll do a little bit more research and get back to you tomorrow. I hope you all have a pleasant day in spite of half of the world going crazy. May God bless you.